You have always been skeptical that he could last for another 4 years in office. Were you surprised?
I wasn't surprised, and I didn't take happiness in it. I think through the whole campaign, I fought for mental competency tests. I wasn't doing it to be disrespectful. I wasn't doing it to be mean. I was doing it because I think it's not just Joe Biden. There is an issue that we have in D.C. where people will go into office and they won't let go. And then their staffers and their family keep propping them up. And it's a problem for the American people. And so I never thought he would make it to the election. I always said a vote for Joe Biden is a vote for Kamala Harris. And I think that's what's playing out.
You also said, in addition to a vote for Joe Biden, you said a vote for Joe Biden is a vote for Kamala Harris. You also have said, if we nominate Donald Trump, I guarantee you we're going to have President Kamala Harris. And you've said, whichever party that retires its 80-year-old candidate first is going to be the one that wins the election. Do you still feel that way?
I think that, look, the Democrats are very smart to put in a younger candidate. I think that that's what America has craved. But I think what you look at is they put in the weakest candidate they could put in.
Nikki Haley. Okay, now we heard you. Hello, guys, and welcome back to Inside the Daily Gist. We are back again like we never left. Welcome back, guys, and thank you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are listening to me from. Thank you so much. Let's get right into it. Yep, Nikki. Y'all know her. She campaigned against Donald Trump then. She dropped out and she backed Donald Trump. She endorsed Donald Trump. And she spoke the RNC, the Republican convention. She spoke and she said because Donald Trump asked her or told her to. And we saw Donald Trump leaves. He was like, no, she wanted to, kind of a thing. But what is Nikki talking about? Everything she said is coming to pass. She said, if y'all vote for Biden, you're voting for Kamala Harris. Was all that just campaign talk? I'm gonna play y'all the rest of the clip. She also said, y'all see, Jake Tapper tried to remind her everything she has said, and it's coming to pass. She said, we'll have a let go of the other candidate. For sure, that party's going to win the White House. It's like everything she said is coming to pass, and she ain't liking it. Yep. Let's go listen to what she got to say. This is her first interview ever since President Biden dropped out. And CNN gave her the platform to talk. And they are giving us the opportunity to listen to what she got to say. Let's take a listen, then we chit-chat on the other side.
You look at the fact that Kamala, she had one job. That was to deal with illegal immigration and the border. She didn't do it. She was the most progressive senator that we had next to Bernie Sanders. You can see it playing out, whether it's the fact that she didn't show up at Bibi's speech yesterday, whether it's the fact that she pushed for all this government spending, whether it's the fact that when she was in California, the most liberal state, there was no tax she didn't propose. There was nothing that she didn't want to see. All of the things she's doing, from not wanting fracking to not wanting oil drilling, all of these things are incredibly liberal. And she is much more progressive than Joe Biden ever was. So the fact that they put in Kamala Harris, kudos for putting in someone younger. The fact that you put in one of the most liberal politicians you probably could have put in, it's going to be an issue.
So, changing subjects for a bit if I can. It was pretty big news when you spoke at the Republican National Convention and officially endorsed former President Trump. In the past, having covered you have called Mr. Trump toxic, unhinged, diminished. You said he lacks moral clarity. What made you endorse him?
I said a lot of tough things about him in the campaign. He said a lot of tough things about me in the campaign. That's what happens in campaigns. I don't think we need to apologize or take anything back. I don't plan on doing that. What I will tell you, though, is the choice that we have at the time was Trump and Biden. Now it's Trump and Harris. Regardless, I know where Trump stands on policies. I don't agree with him 100% of the time, and I said that. But I know when it comes to energy dominance, I know when it's Trump and Biden. Now it's Trump and Harris. Regardless, I know where Trump stands on policies. I don't agree with him 100% of the time, and I said that. But I know when it comes to energy dominance, I know when it comes to national security, I know when it comes to keeping our enemies at bay, I know he's strong, and I know he'll continue to do that. I know he'll deal with the border. You put that against Harris. I don't know that I agree with even 10% of her. She didn't do anything to fight what's happening at the border, and if anything, she wants to decriminalize it. She's been against, she was one of the proponents for defunding the police in a time where our streets are ridden with crime.
I don't think she was a proponent of defunding the police, although I do think she's expressed sympathy
She
with the
said
idea.
supportive comments about the defund the police movement at the time. And that makes you wonder, well, where is she on crime? Well, if you look at where Biden and Harris have been on crime, they haven't done very much. They haven't done anything on the border. You look at the national security, I said this in the speech. Russian aggression against Ukraine during Obama and during Biden. Afghanistan fell under Biden and Harris. Those two things, if I'm looking at substance, I am going to agree with Trump more than I'm going to agree with Harris. And it, frankly, what bothers me is I worry more about what happens between now and January 20.
I think somebody need to remind Nikki Haley that there was a bill that was passed between the Republicans and Democrats to fix the border crisis. But it was Republicans that turned that deal down. So if they want to be using the border crisis against Kamala Harris, they better remember that she got a receipt for that. And again, she was saying when it comes to keeping the enemy at bay, Donald Trump gonna do a good job. That was what she said. Y'all can rewind it and he listened to what she said. Can somebody remind Nikki Haley that January 6, 2021, a lot of Americans still remember that? That's why they are speaking up about the democracy. Yeah, CNN gave her the chance to speak. It is time for us to listen to one more clip, and we are going to finish on the other side.
Than anything else, because our enemies know we're the weakest we've ever been and the most distracted we've ever been.
I want to get to Russia and China in a second, but just sticking on the Trump issue for 1 second. One area where you've expressed concern, and you're certainly not the only one, is about Donald Trump's commitment to the U.S. Constitution, which is, in fact, what he takes an oath to preserve, protect, and defend. You said, you were asked, do you think Donald Trump would follow the Constitution if he were elected to a second term? And you said, I don't know. Isn't that pretty damning?
I hope that he does. I hope that any president would follow the Constitution, and the American people need to demand that. We need to always fight for that. That is what's real. That's what keeps this country together. And so, yes, I hope that everything he does is in line with the Constitution. And I hope that Congress enforces that. And I hope that everybody he surrounds himself with enforces that. But I think the American people need to demand it.
After your speech at the Republican National Convention, former Governor Chris Christie said you only showed up because you want to run for president in 2028. He said that you were unified by your own tortured ambition. What's your response to that?
I think it's funny coming from a guy who didn't even play in Iowa and couldn't even get out of New Hampshire. I think he's bitter to anybody that he's ever dealt with, and I think it's comical that it's coming from a person who in 2016 literally did that one thing, fell all over himself for Trump to get a position in an administration, and he still didn't get it. So, look, I wish Chris well. I think he's got a lot of tortured demons inside of him, but I know what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, and everything that he said could not be more wrong.
Whoa. I hope Donald Trump followed the Constitution. Was that what I heard from Nikki Haley? Yo, this couldn't be more clear that Chris Christie was right. This couldn't be more clear. Y'all had that soft response? Jake Tapper said, isn't that supposed to be, you know what I mean? And she said, I hope Donald Trump followed the Constitution. Are you kidding me? Yo, just because of power, Now I see why a lot of people just like saying enough is enough. They ain't going back. What do y'all think? That when Chris Christine said that she came to speak in RNC because she is still looking to become, to run for president. If we were wrong, or if we were thinking that Chris Christie was wrong, but that answer that she gave threw her out that, yeah, Chris Christie was damn right. Are you gonna imagine they asked her that question that Kamala Harris said she is not gonna uphold the Constitution? I bet you none of the Republicans gonna come out and say, I hope I'm gonna still vote for her. I hope she's gonna follow the Constitution. Nikki Haley, we see you. We heard you. What do you guys think? Please let's continue the conversation down there in the comment section. Are you surprised that Nikki Haley is even still having interviews here and there if she ain't got no ambition? You know what I mean? So do not be surprised that we're still gonna see her do more interview. But question, do you think she's gonna work under Donald Trump if he wins the presidency? Oh, do you think Nikki Haley, she's still coming back. She ain't going nowhere, just like Chris Christine predicted. I'll catch up with you guys later as usual. Please let's respect ourselves while we comment. 2024 is election here. Yeah, well, stay focused. Just like Senator Bernie Sanders said, this is not a joke. Bye for now.